The drive to succeed and the unrelenting passion to be the best is a part of who we are. It's in our DNA, the indomitable spirit of champions. With strength and vigor, we celebrate with pride the glory of hard-earned victories. We celebrate the greatness that is within us all. We celebrate Jamaica.
Talk Up Youth is powered by National Baking Company in association with Cran Water, a Stanley and Empress production giving the youth a voice.
Talk Up Youth.
So we come to know these youths and show these youths. Talk up youths, help the youths to know them roots. Nurture them, protect and love and hear these youths. Music make them know I love we show these youths. To save the youth, not kill the youth.
Talk Up Youth encourages all youth to find tangible solutions for their issues.
Season 6, the best of past seasons, the interview, the panel discussion, and dub poetry by Step Up.
Are you ready for today's show? Today's topic is...
The bill we come for building youth in action, Jamaica. We are youth in Jamaica.
Arts.
Youth and arts. This is the interview on youth and arts. 3, 2.
All right, so I'm gonna do it. Hello to all my creative young people out there. Are there enough educational, career, and training opportunities for our alternative and creative young people? That's the question we're going to ask here today. Are our parents as supportive of youth who want to enter the arts as compared to those who want to enter into the more traditional careers, such as, law and medicine? Well, I am in the creative industry, and I want to hear from the young people who are also interested in that field or who could open up the conversation on the topic. Dominique, welcome to Talk Up Youth.
Hi, Empress. Thanks for having me.
You're in the creative industries. You are a photographer.
Yes, I am. Why
did you choose that career path?
Well, it's something that I love, It's not something that I like. I love it, that passion, yeah? It's not one of the most common one out there to do as a profession, but, because I love it, and it's art, basically. You get to do it with a lot of people and stuff, be creative. So I like it.
Is that what you always wanted to do?
No, honestly, no. I wanted to become a pilot.
Pilot?
Yes, one of those vroom vroom plane thing.
Yeah, the vroom vroom.
Yeah.
Yes, we do know.
Yeah.
So why did you move from that idea, the P to the P, the pilot to the photography?
Well, it was all because of the financial era of it, I started it in high school. Couldn't finish it because of financial crisis, as you can see. It's very expensive to do piloting aviation. So, left high school. I wasn't as fortunate as everyone to gain as much as CXC subject as everybody else.
Okay.
So I went out there with an open mind to start something. I worked in a few photo studios, and I realized that, hey, it's something that I love. My father was a photographer himself, and I realized that I like this thing, so I decided on my own.
All right. Some would say photography, some would say photography, but you went into it.
Yeah, I went into it.
And it's something that you love. Now, let me ask you, how hard is it you have your own company, Dom's Photography,
yes.
and you're out there, we can see that you're out there, we're following you on social media. How hard is it to survive in that industry?
Well, it's very hard, Empress, to be honest. Very, very hard. I have a lot of competitions out there, a lot, It's very costly as well, to keep your clients up, to make everybody happy. It's very, 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 very hard.
So how are you financing this?
Well, I have to budget myself in the Empress, I get the money, I don't waste it. I invest in my company, buy equipment, so I can build myself to make my quality improve itself, so, and also to make my image look decent so people can employ me,
Okay. So image is important to getting the job, your
definitely.
personal image?
Yeah, definitely, people don't like raggedy people to come on their jobs, they like decent, good-looking persons to come on.
So you're saying you're decent and good looking?
Well, that's what they say, not me.
Boy, all right. Let me go into something very important, though, for aspiring photographers or photographers.
Yeah.
You left a job.
Yes, I did.
To go out on your own.
Yes, I did.
Some would say that sounds like madness.
Yeah, it's risky, People say I live sure for unsure. But, I saw opportunity out there, and I'm like, you know, when I went to my family members for advice, they're like, no, you cannot do this because, you know, you have a job, you're getting pay. If you do this, it's not sure that you're gonna get a work after, you know, the industry is watering down, and I had a lot of those negative talks in my ear. I was like, yeah, you know what, I was gonna do it anyways.
So you weren't encouraged to leave a job?
No, I wasn't really encouraged to leave my job.
You said an opportunity. What was the opportunity?
Well, you know, I was working at a photo studio at the time, and a company called Phase 3 Production. Yeah, they're the one. Yeah, they had this.
We know them well. We work with them closely.
Trust me.
Yes.
Very good company. They had this workshopping going on where you were able to be taught, you know, the era, production itself, lighting, everything that involves production. And I'm like, just for 2 weeks, you know, it's not like a month.
Right.
And I'm like, I asked my boss if I could get just 2 weeks to go, and she was like, no. And I'm like, seriously? And then, you know, when it was going to start on Monday, the Saturday I still right, you know, I'm not coming back, you know, I take a different step in my life. And after that, trust me, it's like God sent me a miracle, you know, and certain things happen after that.
Yes. So now you're on a great journey, and you've had some experience out there. You're working, you have your own company.
Yes.
What advice would you give now to young aspiring photographers? Talk to them.
Well, for young aspiring photographers, I would say you have to do it with a passion, you know, do it from your heart. You get what I'm saying? You can't do it for the money, because if you do it for the money alone, you're not going to really reach anywhere. You get me? Go with an open mind, encourage yourself, and just keep positive.
Okay. And from some of the other artistic careers that you've had to engage in your world, I'm sure you meet other young people who want to enter the arts.
Yeah.
What is the stumbling block for many of them?
Stumbling block, probably, you know, is not able to finance themselves in order to get what they want, you know, to get the right equipment to get out there.
And do you think society looks up or looks down on the artistic, creative industries?
They look down on it, honestly. You know, I don't think they really look up to it. It's not one of the biggies, the funds that everybody else will go for.
Little do they know that everybody needs photography.
They don't know that. They need it. Even though technology is inclining each and every day, but we are finding ways each and every day to make it even better.
So, was photography taught in your school?
Well, no, it wasn't, you know, actually. It wasn't taught at Jamaica College. For some reason, I don't know why.
Do you think it should have been?
Yes, it should. Trust me, it should have been there. The time I was there. You know, it would be probably tell me a lot more if it was actually taught there, at least at a club. You know, a club was zero.
So do you think that adults and parents should encourage their children to enter the creative, artistic industries?
Yeah, I should. I think they should encourage them to. If that's what the child wants to do, they definitely should. Don't discourage the child.
Great. And why should we hire you?
Because I'm one of the best. You know, I'm humble, intelligent, and I produce great, excellent quality. Trust me.
All right, it's good. You know, I love when young people are ambitious and confident, and there you have it. Another young person in the creative industries, and most of our team is young. Our director Gervais is young in the creative industry. That's what Talk Up Youth is about, yeah? So parents, are you listening? Good, because we have to listen to our young people, understand where they're coming from, and help them to develop their lives in the direction where they want to go. And maybe it is the creative arts. So we are right now behind the scenes of Talk Up Youth, and our young people are going to come and join us in the virtual boardroom. Let's hear their perspectives and their solutions so we can grow Jamaica, grow the economy, and everybody can be happy. Where your camera then?
Happy, man.
Come take some pictures.
Definitely.
We have to build the youth, Talk Up Youth in Jamaica.
Wagwan, it's our next episode of Talk Up Youth. And today, we're talking about a topic where enough people don't really business about. Youth and arts. And these days, you know, in these schools especially, people keep on pushing the STEM subject on these students. And truly, what would we be without arts? It's what we use to channel our emotional intelligence and help us with our schoolwork. But these schools are just like, hey, no, you have to do the science, you have to do IT. Some people cannot do engineering and some people definitely cannot do maths.
Yeah, as she said about pushing the STEM subjects and
arts help to deal with the emotions. So when the youth use arts now, they can express themselves, so they don't have to use other alternatives like crime and violence and committing suicide, because suicide it tends to be a lot now in Jamaica. So when they have the arts now, they can express themselves in various ways. They might draw what they're feeling, some might use it in dancing or just doing something that let them feel like they are burden free.
Yeah, my issue with youth and arts is that we don't really appreciate the value, and we don't tend to find out what type of arts we're good at. So it's not just acting, singing, and dancing, you have visual arts as well. So my issue is that we don't appreciate and we don't extend and we don't try out new things to see what we're good at.
Now, I'm taking it from an educational aspect. I am a media student and a budding lifestyle or entertainment journalist. And you know, so many times when I have met people, they have asked me, what do you want to become? And when I say a journalist, they're like, you're not planning to make the money, or you're not planning to go somewhere in life, or you're planning to live day to day. And the point I am making is, this is me and this is my preference and what I want. Going into university, a lot of people tend to judge you because they feel as if once you're in the humanities, you're not good enough. They think that politics, business, sciences, and law are the only professions, are the only dreams that are valid. But guess what? I am here to tell you that I am an arts person, I'm a creative, and I'm going to do what I want to do.
Accuracy, accuracy. After hearing so much issues, I really agree by the issues brought forward by my panelists. But my issue is with how society deems art among youths as deviant, because they see art among youths as deviant and not a means of expression. The prime example of this is other day, I remember a mural being painted out on a wall on Old Road. Instead of appreciating the art or even capture it in the moment, in no time they come and white over the wall. They don't appreciate and then two toes here in the media that deviant strike again. Instead of just look at that wonderful art, look at our youth expressing themselves. Too many times society deems the art of this generation as deviant and devious, and it needs to stop.
Okay, my problem or view, so to speak, with art and youth and art these days is that it is too much social orientated. For example, in a society where art is viewed in different concepts, persons would say opera is for the richer class of society, while drama is for the regular class of society. Well, I believe that art is an extension of oneself. We extend ourselves in different ways. So when I present my art, appreciate me, because art is an extension of me, and I just do me.
Okay, so the panelists have just discussed the issues on youth and arts. We'll be back after this commercial.
We have to build the youths, the album youth in Jamaica.
I know I can depend on my barber to give me the perfect haircut every time. Respect is also due to my bus conductor. He ensures that I am not left behind and I get on board safely. It's good to see the police protecting and reassuring with courtesy. My journey through life is unfolding every day. I pledge my heart forever to serve Jamaica, our shining homeland, with pride.
Mommy had it really hard raising 3 kids on her own.
At 17 years old, I became a father.
I started baking because I wanted to make a little extra money to just go to school.
At the time, I had to use small-scale farming to support both myself and my daughter.
When the time came to pay for my C6 subjects, the scholarship from Cranwater, that was a blessing.
The scholarship was actually one of the greatest things that I could earn. I'm determined to be an inspiration for other young people.
We have to build the youths, the album youth in Jamaica.
Welcome back to Talk Up Youth. Now, after hearing all those issues, it's time to discuss them. And speaking from personal experiences, one of the reasons why I don't think that Jamaicans appreciate the arts is because, say for instance, when I was doing dancing, lots of persons were saying, why are you doing dancing? I mean, it's not common, it's not the norm for boys to dance. And it wasn't the normal dance hall. It was more like ballet and all those stuff. So they were saying, why are you doing that? Why you do that? And I was saying that that is not how art is. It's not so much about why you're doing it, it's because what you love, what your message is. And I think that our youth today need to realize that how you express yourself should not be defined by the person next to you or your parents or your teachers. You need to find something that will allow you to express yourself in the way that you feel that you'll be best expressed.
Well, I agree with you because when I was attending my previous school, which is the Salvation Army, well, we entered a number of festivals like the JCDC, we entered Children's Gospel, we entered the performing arts for folk and music, just performing arts. So now I'm going to abilities, so although they entered the JCDC for the deaf dance competition, I think that they should have at least art lessons there so others can express themselves. So because people coming to school, they don't know what they are going through because they don't show it at school. So if they have the arts now, they can display it so they don't have to have these anger issues at school or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right. Schools don't really want to pay attention to allocating resources and ensuring that the spaces that they would have like performing arts training and stuff is like in a good condition. They don't provide like art supplies. They don't supply like good trained teachers who actually care and want to nurture these talents. They just throw in somebody, throw them in a room and say, oh, call that the drama club, make them do something. Like they're not paying attention to how important art is to a lot of persons. And if I didn't push myself to ensure that the St. Hugh's Drama Club, big up the St. Hugh's Drama Club, got the time to train and ask the teachers to excuse them, we wouldn't achieve anything because they just don't care. And a lot of these parents, whenever we say, oh, mommy, I'm at drama club rehearsals, where do a drama club rehearsals and if you come study a book, your child is talented. How about helping them to harness that, support them in what they do? Come to their shows, come and cheer them on for JCDC. What about that? They're just not.
But also a lot of organizations or even school, for example, will argue and say that it's not that we're not interested, but funds are not available. And then it is then left to us, because a lot of times I myself was challenged with the fact that I had so much talent, as person would say. And then what do I do with that talent? I mean, there are organizations, yes, that are able to really, nurture that talent that we have, but we also as a responsibility. If we have all this talent, there are also social medias where we can actually market ourselves. But a lot of persons, because as I said, as you mentioned before, some parents are not behind their children. I mean, support within the home can do so much for a lot of persons. And if we use art to extend a part of us, and if a lot of these parents within these homes would actually back their children and say, hey, my child is indeed gifted, as you would say, support a child. It does not mean naturally financial support only. Yes, it is needed, but also we must recognize that we too, as teens and even the wider society, has a role to play in remembering that no one will put out the best interest for you like you would. So if you have a talent, let it be heard. As I gave myself the name, vocal, I speak life because life has taught me many words. A lot of persons say to me, you can sing. But for me, I've gotten opportunities where it relates to singing, but my passion lies where dub poetry is concerned, and that is also another fact. Not because my perception of art is not what you want me to do. Sometimes you are not given funding for that. They want to see you in a particular area, but because it's not what you enjoy. And as I said before, art is an extension of me. And if I'm not extending myself in a way where I feel comfortable, I will not do it. And a lot of persons withhold themselves from a lot of art departments because it's not facilitating what they are able to do. I wasn't able to engage in a lot of conversations as a young person because of social reasons. It gave me a chance where I could actually extend
Excuse me a bit, Anthony. So you're talking about art. So what is your talent? What is your talent?
Okay, I'm a dub poet.
All right, since you're a dub poet, give me please a TV, show the people them or something.
I speak life because I first taught me many words. Out of your nocturnal mouth you come talk about. From your look on her body, you know say she ready. Hormones gone for emergency. All the indicators them turn on from see the little girl in her uniform. both you know she can perform. And that is just an expression of me and what I see in society.
Beautiful, that's wonderful.
So what I'm saying is that a lot of persons, if you are able to do something, let it be known. And if you are doing something, extend yourself in the way you know how.
Yeah,
I totally understand and agree. You talk about parents, and the thing is, you know, parents need to be taught themselves, because I think they are still in the mindset and the mind frame that you only can be a doctor, you only can be a lawyer, you only can be a nurse. You know, long gone are the days where everybody said that in grade 1. You know, people actually want to be singers, dancers now. And the problem is they in themselves instill in their minds that being a creative, that is a term that was coined for people who love arts, and being a singer, a dancer is a secondary part of you, but they don't understand it's primary. School is not for everybody, you know. I mean, education, that math and find X. I am 22 and I cannot find X at the transport center. When they say find X, find Y. Sometimes I just want to sing, I want to dance, and I want you to understand that.
Yes, because for a very long time when people ask me, Daniel, what do you want to be? I would be like, oh, I don't know, I'm thinking about it, but in my head I knew that, you know, I wanted to be an actress, but then in my head I'm saying, oh, but you know, people don't really take that seriously. Maybe I can be like an actor at night and like some bank person in the day. But since recently when people ask me and I'm like, hey, I want to be an actress, this is what I want to do, and they're like, okay.
Yes, the thing about that, you know, people tend to be hypocritical. In the Jamaican side, people tend to be very hypocritical. So going back to Jamaica is a big culture hub. So going back to the days of Bob Marley and reggae. Reggae never bust big in Jamaica before until Bob Marley go foreign and it bust. So people before that, people say Bob Marley is a little dirty Ras, where I sing some little song. But until him go somewhere where it's profitable and people can rate it, and that's when him come back a yard, it bust. So people need to stop pre-art as that deviant until it bust. They might wait on the bus before the until them see
you need to support them.
Yeah, until them take the deviant out and them stop see it as bad. So even say like a man paint up on the wall, it's interested them. One of them can put it in a museum, one of them can find somewhere put it. The way upon the bus, jump on the bus before and pay a fare. You see me I say?
Yes, and you know, when youth are being exposed to arts, then they'll be exposed to different cultures, different countries. They can travel.
Accuracy.
They can, you know, they have a lot of exposure. They have a lot of, they will be marketed. So they're going to have like some networking, because people can see them and say, oh, you are thinking like me. I may have the same idea. We can work together. So then they can have a network or something like that.
Totally agree with you. And Hakeem, you made a very valid point about people. Jamaicans, you need to know, so you need to appreciate somebody at your yard. You are more to appreciate somebody doing the arts abroad, somebody that you don't even know. You know, you listen to Beyonce. I mean, I love Beyonce. But you listen to Beyonce, you look at that makeup artist, you look at that model. But if your friend says they want to be a makeup artist, your friend wants to be a choreographer, you tend to say, where you go with that? You'd have no place. You need to stop stifling you. We are the preservers of culture, you know. Tell me which businessman can translate 1962 culture to 2016 like an art person can. Tell me which lawyer can. Tell me which doctor can. And there are arts in every one of these disciplines. How you think you make medicine? You just get up, just like Jesus, and when he met the world in 7 days, you have to learn how to do the arts. Usain Bolt is running. How him do it? Yes, there's a lot of science here, but there's an art in running. The art of public speaking, just us speaking and understanding words and translating it to make it make sense. It's an art.
And I will say a lot of persons don't get the light being shed on their art because one, I would say that they don't perfect their art, and a lot of persons don't own their art. A lot of times persons might even shy away from their art also, because in the case where I am a good dub poet or she might be a good actress, because you are not in the spotlight or the group of other persons, you are not given the platform on which to shine. So I think that in our society and even the broader society, a lot of persons are not given the platform.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Because it's 2016. Come on, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Look how much artists, where it's a Prince Pan, comedian is an art, and he use Instagram and bust him career and Lego him career. So if you want your art or your talent to be put out there, you put it out there personally. You can manage your social media page as a big marketing tool. Because I'm a writer, you know, and I tend to shy away from writing in the earlier sense. And until in the last 3 weeks or last 4 weeks ago, I realized I have a talent, and I went on my computer and I sign up for Wattpad, check out my story on Wattpad, Gideon by Hakeem Bryan, or check it out on Medium, Hakeem Bryan Gideon. I put myself on Twitter, and I post after I wrote my story on Wattpad. I sent the link to my Twitter, and I sent it to my friends, and I got positive feedback, and that serves as encouragement and confidence booster. So if you want your art Lego, you can make it Lego. Don't wait for nobody.
Sometimes I feel it's our fault.
True.
Because we are so talented and we tend not to see beyond, probably 2 years that we're going to say, all right, I'm going to go on karaoke, go sing. But we never say, let me try to push the CD right there. So it's like, all right, I can't dance. Let me just dance at church. But you never think that you could have danced the platform, say booking information in your bio. Try to market yourself. And because you are not promoting yourself, people don't believe in you. And then you, after a while, would say, all right, I'm not getting a supporter. But it doesn't come overnight. You
don't have the confidence.
You have to maintain that dream and keep holding your skills.
Think about that, Liz. People are too afraid of rejection. In a life, you must hear no. You must hear no. No, something you have to hear. Have to hear. Have to.
And
so
if yes is good either.
Yeah. So when you hear no, it's alright. Me get 3,000 now. I can't tell that no there's a 2,000. So every no you hear it comes out, go back to the drawing board, it comes out boom, 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 and take out or put in an add-on. So instead of hear 2,000 now, in about 4 months time, 4 weeks time, you hear about 3,000 yes. So that's no fear rejection.
I think one of the biggest problem is the fact that we are because we're artistic people. I think Jamaicans, I don't know what they did with the slaves, but we just tend to love art. You find a DJ pan any corner, you find a runner on any corner, you find a dancer on any corner. But I think why people don't take us seriously, and you spoke about the organization supporting us initially, is because we are all artistic, but we don't try to be different. We tend to copy people, and copying people is okay, but when you copy, you need to know that you need to develop, and you need to become your own thing, because nothing nowadays comes naturally. We're all inspired by something, but it is to make your craft and your talent so much different than somebody else's own.
But sometimes you talk about DJ upon every corner and sing upon every corner produce. But sometimes they must nav it, They must nav it and they must post themselves on it. Sometimes, people telling a DJ friend them when they try for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, say them, nah, go boss, go look at work, go look at 9 to 5, go look something else. If you try your art for about 5 years, you're not getting a positive 10 years. And 5 years short, 10 years. Look at Protege. Protege, I try, him have a song, him have released an album named 7 Years. Man, I say I try for 7 years. And for the 7 years, him finally get the boss. But if you do the DJ thing for 12 years, 20 years, 15 years, leave it alone.
I disagree. I don't think you should give up. Because at the end of the day, that is you. And if you have this burning passion and burning desire, there is nothing that can come in between that. What I think you can do is probably look at job while you're doing it on the side until you get that opportunity to roll over. But you basically tell people to kill them.
No, I mean, if they're sitting there and just doing the same thing over and over again and rolling it out, if they're not actually trying to better their craft and it's just the same thing every time, the same foolishness, then I can understand you need to drop that. You're just...
And isn't it ironic that Jamaica is known, especially look back at Louise Bennett and Edna Manley. We have so much artists in our time, and yet still we're not as supportive on a local level, because we have one of the only art school in the whole, well, actually the only art school in the Caribbean. We have the Edna Manley, and yet still we don't have a lot of persons supporting, especially from the rural areas. If I ever tell persons that, I want to do acting, they'd laugh at first and be like, oh, that's not for you. That's not something that I think you should go in, because you're going to become a bad person. You're going to follow certain crowds, because they always have a stereotype with the arts. They say that arts person, they have a certain mindset, they have a certain feelings, but I don't think that is right. I think that you should stand up for what you believe in, and I think that we should be allowed now in this generation to stand up and to speak up for what you believe in. So if you realize that art is what you're good at.
Have you felt any way about people bashing? Have you heard any comments, disparaging comments about your talent?
Surprisingly, yes, because when I was in 11th grade, I said that, I wanted to do acting. I wanted to go to Edna and I wanted to study acting.
Yeah.
But a lot of persons were saying, I don't think that's for you. I don't think you should do that. And because I'm a person, as my friend said, you don't really want to let people down, and at the same time you want to be an actor, but you don't stay, so you're trying to find a little route. So I said that, okay, I'm going to stay for 2 years, do sixth form, and do something else. And even though I find something that I love, which is linguistics and language, I still love arts, and I still felt that if I had done this earlier, if I had been supported more, because persons would say that, oh, take off your grandfather clothes. Just up where, what kind of, that is foolishness, you don't do that. But I think that they don't understand, they don't appreciate that, guess what, on a global level, art is something that everyone can relate to.
Sometimes Jamaicans are stuck in the past. They don't realize that art can evolve,
Exactly.
And I've seen this in the music where move from rocksteady to scat to reggae and then to dancehall. So people sometimes think it stop there. So even with Prodigy, Chronix and Kelisa and everybody else, when they started the reggae reform, people a lot of instrumental reggae artists frown upon that and say, I'm not reggae that. What? When you tell somebody their interpretation of reggae is not reggae, they're putting a different spin, they're putting a more youthful cultural vibe, a more appreciative vibe for the youth. Because I love Protege music, and the man, if he put a twist on reggae music, I say, yeah, wonderful. So it applies to all other art forms.
And just to add, persons or people in general would usually say that, oh, if you're doing art, you cannot be smart. Or if you're being smart or book-wise, you cannot love the art. And I prove that wrong. Because I have all my subjects and more, and I still can do arts, I still can sing, I can dance, and so can all of us here.
Sure.
And yes. I really think I would have done so much better if my artistic abilities weren't stifled in the school.
Exactly.
I came in and I'm like, hi, I'm Daniel Insang, I'm looking forward to learning and achieving here, but in my free time, I like to act. And they're like, oh, you like to act? All right, I have something for you. Science! What am I going to do with that? And I understand that you want the students to come out versatile and you want them to have a taste of everything, and that's understandable because, I can't be, one-track minded, but at the same time, my art, and I think for other people, art is responsible for my emotional intelligence. So when it's being stifled and I don't have the proper mediums to channel it, I start to become flustered. And I think that's why in a lot of high schools, persons are suffering, or they're more susceptible to anxiety attacks, and their mental is just down, and they're starting to cut and all that stuff, because you cannot tell me that there is nothing wrong with the educational system.
But I think that you can be creative with something that you don't understand. So with maths now, if you don't understand geometry, then you use something that is catchy to you. So people gravitate to songs, music. So when I put it in a music, in a song, they will learn it quicker.
Exactly. That's why teachers would be like, okay, group work, do something to act out what this happened, and then people going to remember, because remember when Ken did that thing when he did represent the slave and so forth, and we remember that. It goes all back to art, you guys. It is very important, and they're just not noticing it.
And ironically, Daniel, that you will speak of that. I think that a lot of times we realize that persons segregate book smart from actually doing the art. And I think that if we actually incorporated art into our studies, it would be easier for a lot of persons. Stuff that persons struggle with. For example, a lot of young men within the streets, they don't really know book smart, but a lot of these hard music and arts of different form, they can literally just tell you everything about it. If we incorporated some of these art forms into studying, a lot of persons would understand easier what is being taught.
Concepts, yeah.
But I have a question right before we continue. If a doctor and a lawyer and an actor walk into the room, who would people appreciate more?
Doctor.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to what we were taught as children, that, what do you want to be when you grow? I think persons want that fame, that hype, that say, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer. But you don't know how hard it is to be an actor, to be a dancer, to be a singer. You don't know the level of effort that is being placed. So you cannot appreciate it until you have learned that, guess what? It is not as easy as it seems. Other persons might come on and say that, okay, I'm going to do a little piece for you. but that piece has to be practiced over and over. And I think
you have to rehearse it, you have to internalize.
exactly. So when persons would ask me to come and perform at an event, and then there I have like 10 bookings behind each other, I'm saying that guess what? I cannot do all 10 because guess what? It is very stressful. And when I don't perform well, persons are going to be like, oh yeah, we didn't know I no fail thing that.
I'm glad you brought up the doctor, lawyer, and because as I tell you, I go to university, and when you tend to see these doctors and these people who are into dentistry and they have their white coats, you could be going to the bathroom, they're wearing the white coats because they want you to know. And you know, at the end of the year, they would say, what are you here doing when you're doing all-nighters? And you would say, you know, I'm trying to get that 4.0. 4.0 for what? You know, just sleep and wake up. This is what you live. Journalism is what you live. Language is what you use every day. What are you studying for? And I'm saying it is not as easy as you think. There's a lot of work, a lot of thought, and a lot of passion that is into all of these things.
But I heard we had a singer among us, so...
What's a piece?
What's a piece?
Exactly.
Introducing world-renowned singer. Take it away.
Listen to the sound here in my voice, a melody I start that can't complete. Listen to the sound from deep within. I don't know the rest of it.
Yeah, man, I hate that. That's
made a very valid point because as the lyric said, listen to the sound from deep within. So I want you to listen to our voice and our sound from deep within.
That's what we need to tell the youth, because we are going to be the future lawyers and doctors and actors and actresses. So therefore, it is for us now, when we have the children or when the next generation comes, that we support them. It might not be the art that they love, but whatever they love, that we support them and we're not so back-minded or that we're not so caught up in what other persons might say.
Nurture me right, so my heart will shine bright. Let my heart be the beat of society. Let the heart of mine brighten society. Well, we're about to go to another break, and we'll be right back after this.
We have to build the youths, they have a youth in Jamaica.
It's a new day, filled with new challenges and possibilities. It's another opportunity for us to be the best that we can be. Now is the time to work diligently and creatively with true respect for all. Now is the time to think honestly, serve faithfully, and respond to duty's call.
Let's keep it clean today.
Mommy had it really hard raising 3 kids on her own.
At 17 years old, I became a father.
I started baking because I wanted to make a little extra money to just go to school.
At the time, I had to use small-scale farming to support both myself and my daughter.
When the time came to pay for my C6 subjects, the scholarship from Cranwater, that was a blessing.
The scholarship was actually one of the greatest things that I could earn.
It's very important to pursue education and to strive towards greatness.
Welcome back to Talk Up Youth, and of course, you know, we just had a discussion segment, and it was very wonderful. Now it's time for the solutions. I just want to tell youths and youths out there to make sure you hone your skills. You don't watch no face, it doesn't matter if your profession or your dream isn't popular, because just as Lupita said, it is very valid. Art is from the heart, so embrace that.
As I said in the first segment about the issue about youth and arts that I had, that they were not fully engaged in art, so they would turn to other things to solve their issues if they have been abused or they would want to commit suicide. Well, my solution is that the community that they live in, the communities can form groups or form associations or clubs to help them to, you know, like deal with their issues, because the community at large is the first place it should start from, because if the community don't help them to know that arts is an expression or they can express themselves through art, then how will they get it from the world if the community don't tell them or engage them in these activities? So youths, listen up. If you feel depressed, if you feel down, you go through some stuff and you feel, yo, I can't bother with this, or I want to turn it to somebody else or make them feel how I feel. Look here, just turn to the arts, do something what you love, because there is an inner passion in you, but you just don't discover it yet. So take time to discover it, and you will definitely find what you're good at. So, yeah, that's it.
Well, my solution is that Jamaica mentor more of our young artists. Too much of our artists in Jamaica that are brilliant and talented are not given the room to bloom, and because they are not nurtured and left on their own to bloom, they die. I implore our society and the people with the money, of course, fund more of our artists, provide more solutions for them through, for example, I would say scholarships, and allow the art of our young people to continue beating.
Well, my solution is that we should embrace the arts and don't be afraid of things like JCDC and Talawa. Use those mediums to express yourself. Don't be afraid of social media. So don't inflict any harm or any verbal abuse to persons out there that because they're not doing something that you like. You think it's easy to go on stage and perform? But once you try it.
And to the youths, guys, be an agent of change in your school. If your school is not paying attention to the arts, or they're not funding it or providing the resources, bring it to the board. Write a letter to your principal. Let them know what's going on and that they're doing something wrong, and what they're doing is truly affecting you and how you view your schoolwork. Don't let anybody compress your talent, because you have it and you're probably going to make money from it one day.
All right. Well, my solution is to the wider society that pre-art by the young people as deviant. Don't. 2016 now. Use it as the spirit as a way of expression, a way of our young people expressing themselves. So if you see murals on a public wall, to appreciate it first, please give it the light it needs before you even paint over. That's why I have to big up Paint Jamaica that paints murals all over the island, give them the recognition they need all over Jamaica via social media. So youths, and the next thing, youths, if you have art, if you have a talent, put it out there. The time is now. You can't wait. Put it out there now. Use social media. And social media is a big thing. If you photography, if good in photography, put it out there. Put it on social media to get yourself marketable. So this is Talk Up Youth. You hear all the youth them talk up. So we're going to throw it to the teacher, Stepper.
Hey you, both you are artists, go and go look at work in our office. Both you are painter, mind me send you back to Jamaica. I have always loved the arts, loved to be creative, loved to express myself. But I was made believe that this was non-progressive. I was made to believe that would take me nowhere. Yasu Safari. Poetry can't yam, it can't full belly. It means say you know no ambition. I have always been left to believe, say, me worthless if me take up the creative arts. So many greatness in our artistic prowess, but yet them say, we are far from the best. Feel no less if you're artistic. Strive and be powerful in your stance for greatness. Both you are artists, go and go look at work in our office. Both you are painter. Boy, mind me send you back to Jamaica. Youths, strive and be powerful. Creative arts, mightyful. Don't feel less of yourself. Both you are artists, yes. I now feel look no work in our office. Both you are painter. I don't need a 9 to 5 round here. Feel free to express and be creative. Listen to Stepper. Words, sound, and power.
Talk up youth, Mr. Talk up youth.
Talk Up Youth is powered by National Baking Company in association with Cran Water, a Stanley and Empress production, giving the youth a voice.